Pick up a guava sometime and feel how heavy it is for its size. That weight in your hand is not water, the way it is in a peach or a slice of melon. A good part of it is something most people would never expect to find inside a piece of fruit. It is protein. Real, muscle-feeding protein, the same building block you reach for eggs to get every single morning. 1 cup of fresh guava carries a little over 4 grams of it. That is more protein than you will find in almost any other common fruit on the shelf. And for a body over 75 that is quietly losing strength, that number matters far more than you have been told. I am Dr. Grace Carter. For more than 17 years, I have worked in clinical nutrition and internal medicine, sitting across from men and women in their 70s and 80s who eat what they believe is plenty of protein, and yet grow weaker and frailer with every passing season. They tell me they are doing everything right, and in many ways, they are. So today I want to talk to you, gently and honestly, about a fruit that almost nobody thinks of as a protein food, and about why, after 75, it may deserve a real place on your plate. Now, before we go one step further, I want to be completely honest with you, because honesty is the whole reason I make these videos. A guava is not going to beat an egg gram for gram. An egg gives you about 6 grams of complete protein, with every amino acid your muscles need, all in one small package. A guava cannot match that, and any video that tells you otherwise is not being truthful with you. But here is what is genuinely surprising and genuinely useful. Among fruits, guava is in a league of its own, and as you will see in a few minutes, the protein is only the beginning of what it brings to an aging body. If plain, honest health information like this is helpful to you, take one moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, and it helps me reach more people over 70 who need to hear the truth without the hype. Now let us talk about what is really happening to your muscles as you age, because once you understand it, the rest of this will make complete sense. Let me tell you about a patient first. I will call her Eleanor. She was 78 when she came to see me, and she was worried in a way that broke my heart a little. She told me she had always been a strong woman. She raised 4 children, kept a garden, carried her own groceries up 2 flights of stairs. But over the last 2 years, she said, her arms had gone soft. Her legs felt unsteady, and one afternoon she could not push herself up out of her favorite chair without rocking 3 times to get the momentum. She was frightened. She thought this was simply the end of being independent. And the thing is, Eleanor was eating breakfast every day. Eggs, toast, sometimes a little yogurt. She was not starving herself. So why was she shrinking? The answer is something doctors call anabolic resistance, and it is one of the most important things for anyone over 75 to understand. Let me explain it simply. When you were younger, your muscles were like a wood stove with dry kindling inside. You only needed a small spark, a modest amount of protein, and the fire of muscle building caught easily. But as the decades pass, that kindling gets damp. The spark that used to be plenty is no longer enough to catch. Your muscles still can build and repair themselves, but they need a stronger signal, a bigger spark, to get going. That is anabolic resistance. Your body has not stopped listening to protein. It has just turned the volume down, so you have to speak louder to be heard. And this is exactly why so many older adults like Eleanor eat what looks like enough protein and still lose muscle year after year. The protein is going in. The signal is just too quiet. Researchers who study aging muscle have shown that older adults need more protein per meal and a stronger amino acid signal to trigger the same muscle-building response a younger person gets from far less. So the goal, after 75, is not just to eat protein. It is to eat protein in a way your aging muscles can actually hear and respond to. There is one more piece of this worth understanding, because it changes how you should think about every meal. When you are older, your muscles do not hold on to the building materials very well between meals. A younger body can coast for hours on the protein it ate at breakfast. An older body cannot. It uses what it gets, and then it needs more, fairly soon, with the next meal. This is why nutrition experts now encourage older adults to spread their protein across the whole day, a good amount at breakfast, at lunch, and at dinner, rather than saving it all for one big evening meal. Your muscles are like a fire that needs a fresh log thrown on it several times a day, not one enormous log at night that is already burned out by morning. And that, you will see, is part of why a humble fruit can play a real supporting role, because it fits so easily into the smaller meals and snacks where most people fall short. Now you might be wondering, what does any of this have to do with a tropical fruit? Stay with me, because this is where guava becomes genuinely interesting. Most fruit is mostly water and sugar, with a tiny trace of protein, almost too small to count. An apple gives you under half a gram, a cup of grapes, less than 1 gram, a banana, just over 1 gram. These are wonderful foods, but nobody would ever call them a protein source. Guava breaks that rule completely. 1 cup of fresh guava delivers a little over 4 grams of protein. That is roughly 4 times the protein of a banana, and several times more than most fruit you can name. Among the everyday fruits at your grocery store, guava sits right at the top of the protein list. According to the Cleveland Clinic, guava contains about 4 grams of protein per cup, which makes it one of the very few fruits with a protein content worth talking about at all. But protein, on its own, is not the whole story, and this is the part I most want you to understand. Guava does not just hand your muscles a little protein and walk away. It arrives carrying a whole basket of other things your aging body desperately needs, and several of them work together to help your muscles actually use the protein you eat. Let me walk you through them, one at a time, in plain language. The first is vitamin C, and guava is almost absurdly rich in it. 1 serving of guava can give you several times more vitamin C than an orange. The Cleveland Clinic notes that a single guava can contain well over 100% of your daily vitamin C, sometimes 2 or 3 times the amount in an orange. Now, why does that matter for muscle? Because vitamin C is essential for making collagen. Collagen is the structural glue that holds your muscles, your tendons, and your ligaments together. Think of it like the strong threads woven through a piece of fabric. Without enough collagen, the fabric of your body becomes weak and prone to tearing. As we age, collagen production naturally slows, and a body short on vitamin C cannot rebuild those threads properly. So the vitamin C in guava is quietly supporting the very framework that keeps your muscles attached and working. The second thing guava brings is fiber, and a generous amount of it. 1 cup of guava gives you around 9 grams of fiber, which is far more than most fruits. Now, fiber is not a muscle builder in the direct sense, but it does something important for an older body. It steadies your blood sugar, it feeds the healthy bacteria in your gut, and a healthy gut is increasingly understood to play a role in how well you absorb and use the nutrients in your food. Picture your digestive system as the soil in a garden. Fiber is what keeps that soil rich and alive, so that everything you plant in it actually grows. A well-fed gut helps your whole body make better use of the protein you give it. The third gift is potassium, and guava has more of it than a banana, gram for gram. Potassium is the mineral that governs muscle contraction. It is the electrical signal that tells your muscles when to tighten and when to relax. When you are low on potassium, your muscles misfire. They cramp, they feel weak, they wake you at night with a Charlie horse in your calf. By keeping your potassium steady, guava helps your muscles fire cleanly and work the way they are supposed to. And there is one more, a compound called quercetin. Guava is rich in it, especially in the skin. Quercetin is a natural antioxidant, and antioxidants are like a cleanup crew inside your body. As we age, we develop a kind of low, smoldering inflammation, a slow fire that quietly breaks down muscle tissue in the background. Quercetin helps calm that fire. And when the fire of inflammation is calmer, your muscles can spend more of their energy building and repairing instead of just defending themselves, so the protein you eat goes further. Do you see what is happening here? Guava is not competing with the egg. It is doing something the egg cannot do. The egg gives you that beautiful, complete protein. Guava gives you a modest amount of protein, yes, but it wraps it in vitamin C for your collagen, fiber for your gut, potassium for your muscle signals, and quercetin to calm the inflammation that blocks muscle growth in the first place. Together, on the same plate, they are a far better team than either one alone. So let me show you exactly how to use guava, because it is so simple you may not believe it does anything. And I promise, you do not need to be a cook. The easiest way of all is to eat it raw, just like an apple. Wash it and bite right in. The skin is completely edible, and in fact the skin holds the highest concentration of quercetin and fiber, so do not peel it away. The seeds in the center are edible too, though if they bother your teeth, you can scoop them out with a spoon. If you prefer something softer, cut the guava in half and scoop the flesh into your morning oatmeal or a bowl of plain yogurt. Now you have turned a simple breakfast into a protein and vitamin-rich meal in under 5 minutes. Or you can blend half a guava into a smoothie with a scoop of Greek yogurt, which adds even more protein, for a creamy drink that your muscles will genuinely thank you for. If fresh guava is hard to find where you live, do not worry. You have other options. Many grocery stores carry frozen guava chunks in the freezer aisle, which work beautifully in a smoothie and keep for months. You can also find guava as a simple puree or paste, though if you choose those, read the label and pick the ones without a lot of added sugar, because some products turn this healthy fruit into little more than candy. The whole fruit, fresh or frozen, will always be your best choice, because that is where the fiber and the skin and all the goodness stays intact. And if the texture or the seeds are difficult for sensitive teeth, simply mash the soft flesh well with the back of a fork before you stir it into your food. A few seconds of mashing makes it gentle and easy to eat while keeping every bit of the nutrition. Now let me tell you the few mistakes I see people make so you can avoid them. The first mistake is treating guava as a replacement for your real protein. Please do not do that. Guava is a powerful addition. It is not a substitute for your eggs, your fish, your chicken, your beans, or your dairy. The right way to think about it is as a teammate that you add alongside your usual protein, not instead of it. The second mistake is peeling it. You throw away the best part. Leave the skin on. The third mistake is eating it once, expecting a miracle by next week, and then forgetting about it. This works the way all good nutrition works, through quiet consistency. Aim for guava 3 or 4 times a week, woven into meals you already eat. And here's a small detail that makes a real difference. Try to eat your guava close to a meal that already contains good protein, or close to a little gentle movement. The vitamin C in guava actually helps your body absorb certain nutrients better, and having those nutrients in your bloodstream around the time you do a short walk or some light chair exercise gives your muscles the best possible chance to use them. The same fruit, eaten with a little intention about timing, simply does more. Now, I promised you honesty, so let me give you the safety part, because it matters. For the vast majority of people, guava is one of the safest foods you can add to your day. It is just a fruit. But there are a couple of situations where you should check with your own doctor first. If you have advanced kidney disease, you may need to watch your potassium intake, and guava is high in potassium, so please ask your doctor what is right for you. If you have diabetes, guava is actually a fairly gentle fruit because of its fiber, but you should still fit it into your overall plan with your doctor or dietitian. And if you take medication, never change anything on your own. Always bring this idea to your doctor and let them help you fit it in safely. Food is powerful, and it deserves the same respect as anything else you put in your body. Let me give you the one trick that turns this from a nice idea into a lasting habit, because knowing something and actually doing it every day are two very different things. The secret is to attach guava to something you already do. You already eat breakfast, so let breakfast be your guava moment. Keep them in a bowl on the counter where you will see them, not hidden in a drawer in the refrigerator. When a food is visible and ready, you eat it. When it is out of sight, it quietly goes bad and gets thrown away. Make it easy, make it visible, and let it ride along with a habit you already have. And here is a small bonus that stacks right on top. Pair your guava with a source of complete protein at the same meal, and you get the best of both worlds. A guava alongside a couple of eggs, or a guava blended into Greek yogurt, gives your muscles the strong, complete protein signal they need after 75, plus all the vitamin C, fiber, potassium, and quercetin that help your body actually act on that signal. The egg brings the spark. The guava helps the kindling catch. Together, they are far more than the sum of their parts, and still, not one bit of it requires a supplement or a single dollar spent at a pharmacy. Let me bring this all together for you. After 75, the problem is rarely that you are not eating protein. The problem is anabolic resistance, the fact that your aging muscles need a louder, stronger signal to respond. Guava cannot replace your eggs or your fish, and I would never tell you it could. But among fruits, it stands almost alone, with about 4 grams of protein in a single cup, plus a remarkable load of vitamin C for your collagen, fiber for your gut, potassium for your muscle signals, and quercetin to quiet the inflammation that steals your strength. Remember Eleanor, the woman who could not rise from her chair. We did not perform any magic. We simply built her meals around real, complete protein, and we added guava and other nutrient-rich foods alongside it, paired with a little gentle daily movement. Over the following months, she told me she felt steadier on her feet, and one day she mentioned, almost in passing, that she had stood up from her chair without thinking about it at all. That is what this is really about. Not chasing some headline, just giving your body, every day, the simple things it has been quietly asking for. It costs you very little. It asks almost nothing of you. And it may help protect the very things you most want to keep as you age, your strength, your balance, and your freedom to live on your own terms. If this was helpful to you, and you would like more simple, honest explanations like this one, please subscribe and join us here. This channel exists to help you stay strong, clear, and independent well past 70, and I would be honored to be a small part of that journey. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. A quick and important note before you go. This video is for general educational purposes only, and it is not medical advice. Always speak with your own qualified healthcare provider or dietitian before making any changes to your diet, your supplements, or your medications. Your doctor knows your body, your kidneys, and your full history. So bring this idea to them and let them help you use it safely and